Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. My name is Ryan. I get stuff from yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, backyards, front yards, side yards, or I say garages, and other such places, and try to flip a few extra dollars online. Today, really good GIJoe sale. Um, Books. Found some books, sold a book, and something very curious. And I gotta talk about one thing also. I keep forgetting about this thing, and we gotta talk about it. All right. First off, if you've been watching it all, these are little credit card. These are knives that transform into credit cards, or credit cards that transform into knives of some sort. Anyway, I've got a bunch of these, and I'm selling them about $10. No, 10 for $9. And I've sold. This is probably the third or fourth I've sold this week. So, sold a batch of those. I have. Next is. This is kind of interesting. Force One. This is by Erdl, the company that makes die-cast cars and trucks. They made a batch of 12-inch GIJoe weapons, and so that's what this is. And this sold for $13. I got this for $1 or $2 at a yard sale with another few other similar packaging. So, this is one of those situations like you sell this. And when you make sure you describe it in your description, sell it as, hey, this is a good one to open. Because the package is a little beat up, and collectors typically want really pristine packaging. But something collectors also like is like fresh out of the package stuff. And if they can get like a super beat up package and crack it open to get the stuff out of it, that's like even better. So, $13 for this. Next is, oh look, I sold a Bible. This is the narrated Bible in chronological order. This went for $17. Real interesting concept is to take the Bible and put it into chronological order. Because it's not, and most people, I think a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of overlapping, particularly in the Old Testament, where all the minor and major prophets are speaking during the time of Kings and Chronicles. So you can kind of mash those verses together and get a little bit better idea of what happens when and what prophet is speaking where and that sort of thing. And that's what this does. Something like this does, and it's a helpful tool sometimes to get good context of what's going on, particularly in the Old Testament. New Testament tends to be a little more chronological, but it's also, all the episodes are a lot more theological anyway, rather than historical narrative. So anyway, that's what this does, and this went for $17. So. Good to do it. Again, unique Bible sell. Finally, the big one you've all been waiting for. Where'd he go? Here he is. This guy. This is Falcon from GIJoe. This is not unique, but this is a rarer figure from a subgroup called Night Force that was sold only at Toys R Us. And so it had a more limited run and is more desirable to get. This bad boy sold for $50. $50. I have sold a couple of Night Force figures off and on. They are among the more expensive GIJoes you can find, and they go for plenty of money. Now, always grab GIJoes for under about $3 if you can. Like this guy. This is Free Fall. This is more of a $10 to $15 figure. But I got him the other week at a thrift store, waiting for him to sell. I think he'll go he'll go within a month. They're fast sellers. What's one of the great things about action figures is they kind of hold the value a little bit, and they sell fast, and they're small and light. Can't totally say that for the vehicles, but you can for the figures, and that's one of the reasons why I think people like to find them to flip them, is because they're very easy to deal with. So the collectors aren't always necessarily, but the figures are. So that bad boy went for $50. I was hoping to get a little bit more for him, and that's sort of on the low end, but he hasn't moved and hasn't gained a whole ton of interest, and I haven't got a whole lot of offers on him. So I went ahead and unloaded him at that price. So, and I bet there's some collectors out there who would feel bad because they missed out. Now, that stuff sold. Stuff I've got for sale. I'm going to go back to this because I've been skipping it and I've been not needing to not skip it. So this is a 2003 Transformers Energon Decepticon, not Galvatron, sword. And this thing's kind of rare, and I'm real curious as to how much it's going to go for. There was one other one in the package mislabeled for sale on eBay right now for a little over $100, and it's in the package. And this is missing some parts. There's some wing things that stick out here that attach to these parts. So I put this for I think I started at about 60 or 70. I suspect I'll wind up somewhere between 30 and 50 with it. But I wanted to start it high just in case there was decent demand for it. So we'll see, but it is a rare piece. Cosplay stuff does sell, and it's time to start getting it in your inventory. And one of the things that does sell is accessories, weapons, bags, bin, stuff that people can customize and do what one of the neat things about this is somebody can buy it and kind of customize it, because it's a little, it's missing some parts, and it's like, I get that for $30. I can kind of repaint it or add something to it and make it my own. I did it one time. I'm almost curious. I should have asked them what they were going to do with it. I did it one time. I found one of the higher end lightsabers, one of like the movie prop level metal lightsabers that it like normally went for $300 or $400. I got it for a few bucks at a yard sale. It was busted. There were parts broken. There was a couple parts missing. And I put it up on eBay for about $100 and said, look, this thing's broken, but it's really going to be really good if you want to make your own and customize this one so you don't have to go out and get a brand, find something and damage it. So there's something to think about when you're looking at stuff for those types of purposes. But it's also like if you see stuff that goes good with the costume, it's worth grabbing, because this is about the time to start flipping it, because Halloween's coming. So that's an important part of that. Next up for sale, some other finds. Nothing hugely exciting. Greek Myths book. This is actually by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Reason I grabbed this, nice cover, looks good on a shelf, $10 to $15. I don't know if this is one of the Barnes and Noble ones, but keep an eye out for stuff like this. Is good, really good, like leathery kind of type of binding reprints of like classics. Those are decent finds. Religion, radio replies. This is actually from like a couple of Catholic priests, and it's sort of the transcripts of some of their radio programs. I don't know when they were done, but it's been a while. And this is like one of I wish they had the other two volumes with it, because this is about a $30 set. This is probably going to go between around $10-12, I think. So there's that one. This is a curious piece. I don't think it's going to go for a bunch, but Rupert, it's 1969 children's book. Older children's book, sometimes worth grabbing. Rupert, the Daily Express. This is actually from England land, and this is probably another $10 to $15 item, I suspect. But it was one of those when I started looking it up. I was like, that's only available in England. I wonder if it'll sell here. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But it's something worth thinking about. Is if you look something up and all you see is British sales, then you know you might have something. So there's that. Finally, I have a look at another Bible. This is a New International Version, 2011. So it's the later translation. Leather bound, faux leather. Red lettering. Giant print. So this takes off a handful of those good boxes for a Bible that sells well. Clean. Nothing written on the front. So... And I grabbed it out of instinct, and I'm actually a little surprised at how much it doesn't go for. This isn't a $50 or $60 Bible. This is like a $15 to $20 Bible. So somebody's going to get a pretty good deal on this. I think it'll sell. I'm not worried about that, but it won't just be like a really high dollar one. Which brings me to an aggravating point. I had a recent Bible sale for $50 or $60. Really nice Bible, really good, like real leather cover. And the guy wanted to return it because it has red letters. It has the words of Jesus in red. And I was like, what? What? That's weird. And I doubt you're going to find an NIV. It was an older NIV. And I don't think you're going to find an NIV that the words of Jesus Christ are not in red. So it was very curious. I mean, he's going to return it. So, and I'll flip it. It's no big deal. I can resell that Bible for, I may raise the price $10 and make sure I mention that it has red letters, and which I forgot to do. Which I thought I had it as my standard operating procedure. Apparently, I didn't. So that's going to be that. So anyway, that's everything today. I think listed stuff, sold stuff yesterday. So for sales is usually warrants me hopping on and saying I sold it. So it's out there. Get it done. So you have a good one. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.